Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us on set, we have Liz Ross. She's a vegan advocacy initiative, talking about veganism. Now, Liz is the co-founder and director of Vegan Advocacy Initiative, VAI. It's an animal advocacy and vegan food justice organization based out in LA. Now, VAI creates programs and events to encourage the public to consider a holistic way of thinking that upholds not only animal rights, but also a different kind of lifestyle, one which you kind of marry the environmental needs and the sustainable future of your country. Good morning. How are you, Liz?
I am doing great, a little jet lagged.
I'm sure, you'll survive. It's just a conversation we're having this morning. Let's talk a little bit about VAI. How did this organization start? What was the impetus for you to create this organization?
So we had animal rights conferences in LA, and the problem that we had was these conferences were mostly white mainstream people. And the stigma in the vegan animal rights movement is that, oh, it's a white, rich lifestyle. So what we wanted to do, me and my partner, is that we wanted to create spaces for people of color, Asian, Indian, Black, including white people as well, but more of a diverse group of people so that people can see that we have vegan leaders, animal rights activists, food justice activists who are of color and are of a diverse population, as opposed to the stigma of, oh, it's just for white, rich people. So that's how the organization started. And now what we have is a 6-week program, actually, for people who are interested in becoming vegan. We also have a humane education component where we go into schools, elementary schools, and we teach elementary school children or community organizers how to just basically take care of their animals. You see, I used to be a former police officer in Oakland, California, and what I saw were just regular people, and they really believed that dogs felt no pain, so they would lock them up, tie them up. I remember going to a call where the animal, was bleeding. So people really don't understand that these animals have feelings. But that also goes to the cows and the pigs and the chickens and the fish. Pigs are actually more intelligent than dogs. So we have this sort of
Who would have thought?
I know. We have this sort of twisted, contradictory idea of selecting certain animals to pet and love and have in our homes, and then others that we eat. And we basically treat them like they're furniture, as they have no feelings. So VAI actually, our goal is to give people the knowledge so they can understand that, when you look at it, we all really care about animals. If I had a puppy and I threw a puppy down a 2-story building, people would think that was cruel, right? That would be senseless violence. But the food system that that exists now is filled with violence. We have a violent food system. Factory farms. In the past 50 years, we've had an increase of people eating animal products and their excrements, which is the milk. By the way, we're not cows, so why are we drinking cow's milk?
So you're fully vegan, as in you have no animal products at all?
No animal products. Now, there's a difference between plant-based eating and veganism.
Right.
So plant-based is just you are eating a plant-based it could be whole foods diet or it could be a junk food diet, but we would promote a whole foods diet. And that's basically the 4 food groups, which you have your fruits, your vegetables. Then you have in the other category your grains, which is oatmeal, rice, quinoa, which is a southern right. People here have quinoa,
yeah,
right?
we do. We know what
I'm only here 3 days, so I'm learning what we have and what we don't, which is great.
Right.
So, and then you have also the grains and the nuts and seeds. And the nuts and seeds and the legumes, which is the peas and the beans, the chana, and so on. So those are the 4 food groups, and that's a plant-based diet. Vegans eat a plant-based diet, but as an ethical vegan, the difference is that we actually extend that to not wearing leather. Do you know that your lipstick has pig fat?
Yeah, I actually read that the other day.
Yeah, I mean, why?
So you are promoting a fully holistic lifestyle in terms of no animal products at all. A lot of people look at your diet and wonder where you're going to get your protein supplements and the balanced diet that you speak about, because that's what's put forward.
Right, that's a good question. The two things we get is where do you get your protein and where do you get your calcium?
Right.
Because the meat and dairy industry, particularly in the US, and that trickles down to here, wants you to believe that meat is the ultimate protein intake, and also milk, which is cow's milk, is the ultimate calcium intake. Well, you can get calcium, sufficient amounts of calcium, according to the experts, from dark leafy greens. Bok choy, spinach, pak choy, those kinds of things. So, and with meat, you have the legumes and the grains, and actually some vegetables actually have protein as well. So it has been scientifically proven already, 10 times over, that you can thrive on a vegan diet. And in some cases, scientists are debating whether a whole plant-based vegan diet is actually healthier than actually having any animal products as well. Because what we need are the amino acids.
Why did you decide to adopt this lifestyle?
So people planted seeds. I met people who were vegetarian, and they just sort of planted seeds in my head. They weren't pushing their values on me, as I don't to other people as well. And then when I started to have some knee pains and also gastric reflux disease, where I actually had to sleep on an incline. And everything the doctor told me not to do, I did, but I still had this. Around that time, I was actually thinking about animal suffering just a little bit. And then I was cutting up some chicken, and the chicken's leg was broken. And I started to think, was the chicken's leg broken before she was killed or after she was killed? Notice I'm saying she and not it. That's another way that we distance ourselves from the animals.
Okay.
These are individuals who have personalities. They have feelings. They protect their young. They have the same nervous systems that we have. They're conscious of their environments. So for some reason, it sort of triggered. I started to really think of this chicken in a system of violence and suffering. If you know about particularly the factory farms, they actually have them in cages. They have thousands in cages. And the chicken wire, they're actually sitting there and their feet are bleeding. What also happens is that they debeak them without anesthesia as they're chicks, because chickens have a pecking order.
So you are promoting, you're hoping to spread your message to Trinidad and Tobago, your purpose of coming here.
I am. I'm interested in planting seeds. I am interested in letting people know what is going on so that they can make their own choices. What happened to me, what made me an ethical vegan was learning about the conditions in factory farms and also how the workers are treated. Many of them actually have higher incidences of domestic violence because you're dealing with killing beings every day. They're also injured because many of the animals are fighting back. They don't want to be killed. So when I realized that I was participating in this system, I was upset. I was like, you mean nobody told me about this? I didn't even think cows needed to have babies to lactate, just like you and me.
Right.
And then they remove their babies and the cows are crying, literally. So as I am enlightening people, as I'm giving them knowledge, people can make their decisions. And what I have found out is Trinidad, I am connecting with people and people are actually listening. And
what are the advantages of going to an all-vegan lifestyle?
Well, I think it's the best thing I did for my body. Number one. I mean, literally, I have no health problems. I'm 52 years old and I have 0 health problems. And I did before. I now run half marathons, so I have more energy. The other thing is that my values are now consistent with my actions. And I think most people, as I said, care about animals. So your values are more consistent with your actions. And I think that's a better way to live. I am interested in, as an ethical vegan, as I walk through life, to try to reduce as much suffering as I can in the choices that I make. And, you know, what better life do we want?
And in terms of your promotions or your activities here, how are you going to get your message out?
Well, I'm here for 2 weeks right now, and I'll be here more often. My plan is hopefully to be here and build up an organization. Saturday, I will be at the Green Market in Santa Cruz at the Avocado and Fruit Festival. I'll be there from 8 to 1. So I invite everyone to come over, talk to me, ask questions. I'll have some information, leaflets and so on, and I'm excited to see people.
What is the most difficult thing about adopting an all-vegan lifestyle?
A lot of people feel that they're going to be missing out. That's the first thing that they think of. Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss my curry chicken.
Right.
But when we understand, nobody eats raw chicken. Why is it tasty? Because of its ingredients. It's the same thing for vegan food. I eat my cake, I eat cheesecake, I eat chocolate, I eat all of that that's vegan. I have barbecue, I have all kinds of things. So it's just not the chicken, and it's very tasty. So I think one of the biggest things is that when people actually understand that the food is tasty and you can eat, and then put that with your ethics, then it's great. I think it becomes easy.
I mean, I tell everybody that I have black bean brownies and they're perfectly fine. But, you know, I think, you know, it's true. Your body just has to think it's there.
Yeah.
But, you know, is it an organic lifestyle you're talking about? Because you talk about, you know, being fully vegan, but then is it a health conscious decision? And what do you do with the chemicals industry and all of the pesticides and all of the chemicals that have been used in creating the plants that we enjoy?
Right, that's a good question. Now, veganism is not organic. If you can be vegan and unhealthy, you can have white bread and white sugar and so on. Personally, I try to cut down on the processed stuff because a whole plant-based diet, in my opinion, is the healthiest. And it has worked for my body. And it has worked for a lot of people. And we're from the same species, so I'm sure it'll work for you. So, you know, I always say to people, meat has been the cause of a lot of diseases, including heart disease, high cholesterol. So even if you don't have access to organic foods, you still have access to the nutrients in there. So if you wash, for example, if you wash a lot of your leafy greens, of course, if we had all organic, that would be fantastic. And I think that part of our organization, Vegan Advocacy Initiative, is that we have a food justice component in which we're actually trying to promote that. We're trying to promote, like in LA, we work with the community to create small organic gardens. So I think, in my opinion, veganism is a food justice activity. It's animal rights is about food justice. And part of it is trying to create better food systems, including more access to organic foods, plant-based foods.
Your closing comments, Trinidad and Tobago. What do you want to say to the country about your lifestyle?
Well, I would say to be open, to go on YouTube and look at what is going on behind the scenes in the factory farm industry, learn about a healthy plant-based diet, and be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just say, you know, maybe I could try one day of having a totally vegan day, but learn and find out about how to eat the 4 food groups and just go from there. Be kind to yourself and say, okay, how can I try to live a life that's consistent with my values?
It's definitely something to consider. Maybe you can make the vegan a change as well. Small changes make great results in the end. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more for you. Stay with us. This is the Morning Brew. Thank you.